everybody, it's your girl, Pajama, with Pajama Life, and it's the dynamic duo tonight. Woo! So today we have our buddy David. Say hey to the people.
Hey, everybody. Great to be with you on what has been a chilly, rainy day in our nation's capital. But it's a perfect day to grab your popcorn and get ready to talk about these fun shows that we're discussing this evening.
Yes, and today we are going to watch the well, is it kind of almost the last episodes of Bad Batch? There's only one more week left. The Mandalorian, directed by Carl Weathers, and the Ryan Johnson show, Poker Face. All right, so let's take a peek at Poker Face.
Charlie, how can you not see that this is a gift? You've been graced with a gift.
I'm not a soothsayer. I can't predict the future. There's nothing mystical about it. Just if someone is intentionally lying, that's it.
Do you know I would give all of this up to have my brother back?
Bullshit.
My favorite color is yellow.
Bullshit. Oh, come on. Bullshit. Bullshit.
I got cancer.
Bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
There's not a corner in this country small enough for you to hide in. And when I do kill you, finally, you can thank me. Now, tell me, kid, am I lying?
Oh, I love that guy. David, tell me what you thought of Poker Face.
Well, Poker Face with Natasha Lyonne is just a wonderful show. I would say that it is different and unique and something we haven't seen before, but that's not true. We saw this every week starting in 1968 with the great Peter Falk as Columbo. It is in that same spirit, that same genre, that formula. You see a murder, you bring in guest stars to play the killer, and then the hero, or in this case, our heroine, saves the day and solves the murder. It is fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Ryan Johnson, but he knows where his bread and butter is. And that bread and butter is through the plagiarism and taking of other people's stuff.
Homage, sir. Homage.
Well, one person's homage is another person's copyright infringement. But
obviously not.
Yeah. Even down to the font, to the yellow lettering and the font.
Though. It was definitely purposeful.
Very much so.
And it's a fun little wonderful show. Natasha Lyonne, she is just a real comeback story. I mean, popular in the 90s and late 90s, early 2000s, ran into a terrible drug habit and then turned herself around and came back strong. So she's in several hot properties, but she's also just one of those people you just kind of always root for because they're just so, like, you just want to grab them and kiss them and like squeeze them because they're just so lovable. But in this one, I think it's a perfect kind of modern take on Columbo.
Oh yeah,
she gives it a lot of funny, likability, but also, she understands people. What a terrible gift to have, I think. I mean, I would not want to know every time somebody is lying. You could not watch the news in the last administration without your brain leaking from your ears.
Well, Pam, I'm told that I am a terrible liar. I mean, I have the worst tells. So I'm not saying that my wife could star in this show, but apparently, if I kill somebody, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I can't hide it. But
Ah,
yeah, this is really good. I enjoy it so much, and I watched her in Russia House because I liked this so
yeah.
much. I went back and I watched that show, and it really. I thought she was trying to be Peter Falk, and maybe a little bit, but I think there's just this kind of a persona.
Yeah.
I think this is
Yeah.
like a maybe just she's kind of playing a part of herself in some
Yeah.
respects.
I think so.
But I'm enjoying this so much. Really good writing, great guest stars. I hope
Mhm.
they wheel in Robert Culp. Just because now Robert Culp was one of
Oh,
the
Lord.
primary killers in the
Yeah.
old Columbus. So
Yeah.
you bring him in. Last time we saw him was Everybody Loves Raymond. Wheel him in, have him be a killer or the victim if it's easier,
Yeah.
but bring him in. But man, this is so much fun, and we are getting a season 2 with a little kind of segue to some of our other
Yeah.
shows. Rhea Perlman looking
Yeah.
to
Rhea
be the next
Perlman.
big baddie.
Yeah. And, that was kind of one thing I didn't, that was my only kind of criticism was you saw at the beginning, the main bad guy and him telling her, I'm gonna kill you. And then the final episode, it was something else. So I was kind of like, that's not, but who cares? It was still good. And ended on a really interesting note. And I'm really excited to see what Rhea Perlman
Yeah.
is going to bring to the show next season. And I hope this goes on for several seasons. I think it's one of those shows that you could, just like Columbo played for, God Lord, what, 10, 12, 15 years?
Look, had a lot of
Till
stuff
the
in the
80s, right?
70s.
I mean,
Well, it went through the 70s, and then
yeah,
it had like a rebirth in some like mini movies
yeah,
in the
yeah.
90s. In the early 90s, it came back. Gotta ask you, if you've seen all the episodes, which one is your favorite of this season 1?
Oh, I think the one at the nursing home.
Oh, that was a great one.
Yeah, yeah. Because it was just so unexpected with what happened. And those two badasses, I was like, oh, snap. I
Hey,
think, which
be
one was
afraid of
your
them old
favorite?
people. Be afraid of them old people. They're dangerous.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff happening in these retirement homes. I mean, for
Yes,
one,
sir.
there's a lot of sex going on and a lot of STDs, but a lot of fun. I mean, at that point, why not?
Sex, STDs, and fun in that order, says PJ Life. So I'm just putting that out there,
I
everybody.
mean, if you can take a pill or take a shot and get rid of it,
That's right. Just don't throw your back out. That's all we're saying.
exactly.
Don't throw your back out.
So, what was your favorite?
There were so many. I love that one with in the home. I'm gonna go with the heavy metal. I'm gonna go with
Oh,
the heavy
yeah.
metal group and the little homage to a sitcom show. You didn't think a sitcom theme song could get metal, but that was a great little twist there at the end of the episode. But that,
Mhm.
that one was one of my favorite. Also, though, we talk about Columbo, and truly that is, but there's a real Incredible Hulk, Bill Bixby's Incredible Hulk aspect of this too, as she
Uh-huh.
goes from town to town, helping people and solving crimes as she goes.
Yeah. And let's not forget about the great Benjamin Bratt. I
Oh,
mean, I don't know what fountain of youth this guy is drinking, but he is aged like some fine whiskey. He's still fine. I could watch him in anything. So hopefully we'll see more of him in the second season. So such a great show.
it is a good show, really
Yeah,
good.
definitely. It's not for little kids. I think there are some adult themes and a lot of cursing and some gruesome
Even
murder.
in our trailer,
Yeah, yeah,
Ruby,
yeah,
even in the trailer.
yeah. So, but it's adult fun, just like Columbo. You go back and watch the Columbo. I think it's on Sundance or one of those stations. that's an adult show. We were watching some crazy stuff in the 70s. Now that I watch it, it's like, wow, this is really adult, which is good. We need everything can't be about teenagers and vampires. So let's definitely check out with your older teens or your significant others, adults, Poker Face. All right, next up, Carl Weathers directed The Mandalorian, The Foundling. Let's take a look.
Put down the rocks, kid. It's time that you learn with the other foundlings.
This is the Forge. It is the heart of Mandalorian culture. Just as we shape the Mandalorian steel, we shape ourselves.
Cross them!
Mandalorian steel shall keep you safe as you grow stronger. Foundling Grogu.
All right, to the guru of all things Star Wars. What'd you think of this week's episode?
Well, on one hand, it was entirely too short. I hate these episodes that aren't long enough. I'd like to see about 45 minutes to 48 minutes, since, the regular 60-minute show would have commercials. I'd like to see it more of that. So I felt we got a little cheated there. But at the same time, I also feel I'm not sure where that Favreau and Fellini know where they want to go now. I think there was such a great logical closing arc in the end of season 2 where Grogu goes off to be with Luke. He's clearly force sensitive. It's a lot of power out there to be a Jedi. So I'm not sure that they know where to go. We even had like a little flashback scene, a little PTSD that on one hand is derivative. We saw an Order 66 night with Reva and Obi-Wan. So it's like, it's a little repetitive. It was great, though, for Ahmad Best, who has taken an undue amount of criticism to get a moment. He got a cameo in Attack of the Clones. He was able to create a Jedi character for a Disney game show, which is where this character came from. So he kind of reprised that. Glad to see him.
Yeah.
Don't really know why we went back in time. I really would have liked to have seen more about the progression of the story, but it is good for him. I'm glad he's getting a moment of recognition.
Yeah.
It's tough in the Star Wars universe when you're relying on George Lucas's writing, because that has proven to be a challenge. And so I am glad to see that somebody who took a lot of criticism, he was doing the job. So, that was really cool. Last thing I'll say before I turn it to you, Pam. Did the Mandalorians, what kind of land of the lost place are they in? One of the most dangerous place there ever was. You got big fish, you got big birds. Lord, I'm scared to death know what's down in even the rocks are moving.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a dangerous place for them. So, but it was fun. I love to see Carl get a chance to direct. But overall, I don't know where they're going with this. And I almost want to say that this is not the way. I'm a little concerned with the direction.
Isn't that exciting? Part of, to me, the excitement is I don't know where they're going. And so I just want to get on the ride.
They don't either. That's the problem. They don't either.
I don't know. I think they know exactly what they're doing. And it's just not apparent. Remember, we're only halfway through. Or a little more than halfway. I think this one might only have 7 episodes instead of 8.
and a really short one. I just
Yeah.
I just think there's been some, unless they can tie it up in some ways, I think there's just a lot missing here with season 3.
Well, we'll see. But
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see how they're going to go. And okay, let's talk about Ahmad Best and Jar Jar Binks, because I saw a video about what Jar Jar was supposed to be, which was a Sith Lord with Palpatine. And
Yeah.
Ahmad Best did not disagree with it. And but they couldn't do it because they wanted to keep Jar Jar as a kid. Now, I talked to a friend of mine who's young, right? He's in his 30s. And so when those prequel movies came out, he was a little kid, so he loved them. He loved Jar Jar, and it's beloved. So I think it also kind of is a generational thing. But I think that's one thing. Once I saw that Jar Jar's character was not so horrible to me, that it made sense throughout the series, some of his actions. And then at the end, kind of he's walking, he's a senator, he's kind of come through. But that would have been so amazing if Lucas would have went with that as, kind of as a twist, but he didn't. So I'm glad that Ahmad Best came out like a G and was amazing, doing double sabers, fighting off the bad guys, going in a chopper. Then he's in a like a chrome plane. I think only the Jedi had the chrome.
Well, that's a Naboo
spaceship.
ship. It was a Naboo ship.
Yeah. I was like, oh, they all have chrome, when one way or another have a chrome ship, which is super cool. So getting to see a black man being a badass Jedi is everything for me and people who look like me. So I don't care. I love Ahmad Best. Carl Weathers, A+. But I am excited because next week I'm kind of like, well, what's gonna happen? Is the mythosaur gonna come out? Are they gonna get the mythosaur? Are they going to, is what's her name, Bo-Katan, is she gonna try to beat up the armor and take over the sect? What's gonna happen? I don't know, and I'm so excited. I want to know. Oh, I want to know. So I guess that's where we differ.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to every episode. I'm just seeing it with a little bit more of a critical eye. But
yeah,
what I'm
let it
enjoying
go. Just go with it. Just flow, man. Just flow.
Oh, man, I'm enjoying it, but I'm going, I had nothing but praise in season 1, and for the most part, season 2, it was well deserved. But, I see some challenges, some problems here. We'll see how it works out.
Yeah. And Dwayne DeMarcos, hey Dwayne, hey Electric Melanin. He's got a good point. I think they're trying to wrap up Grogu's origins, because one thing I wonder is, will Grogu go with Ahsoka and then become a part of Ahsoka's story? So I think there may be some, leading up to that. So we'll see. It's good for everybody. Everybody can watch it, have a good time. It's a little darker this season, though. That's how many people or things are getting eaten this season. There's a lot of people getting eaten.
But here's the thing, though, with Disney. All right, I continue to sound like I'm being critical. They kill the mama, or they put the mama in position to be killed.
Yeah.
The babies they're going to raise and I guess domesticate. But here's the thing. Disney doesn't know what they want to do. It's like, the resistance, they're anti-gambling, which I'm not a big gambler, but okay, they're against the gambling planet. And they have those cute little dudes on Luke's planet where, he's all a curmudgeon. And then, yeah, those guys. And, Chewbacca, clearly, have you seen Chewie? Look at those teeth. He's a meat eater. They're not sentient. We're not supposed to make everything a pet. It's like, dude, you kill the mama and you take the babies. I don't know, man. Disney doesn't know what to do with itself in terms of its trying to be balanced on things with that. But that's just me.
And I was kind of sad the mama got eaten. I was kind of like, I mean, I get it, but a part of me was like, oh no, the mommy. And then I was like, oh, they're gonna take the baby. So I was like, okay, because that would be, if they could use them as battle beasts, to help them, that would be amazing.
Little Game of Thrones action, I think we're going to be seeing.
Yeah, they'll have little saddles on them, and then they'll ride them. It'll be awesome. I mean, I think that would be cool. So we'll see. We'll see, David. Just hang in there. Just trust your boy. You trusted him all these years. Let's just keep trusting. Just trust the process.
I never trusted. I just enjoyed what I liked. Now, and Favreau did a great job with the first season, but I think he's dedicating. He's deferring to Filoni, and I think we're seeing a live cartoon. Not always great. Disney doesn't know what to do with all its properties. There I say.
No.
All right.
Okay.
I'll get off. Hey, by the way, you guys watching this show, get off my lawn. Get the heck off my lawn.
Oh, grumpy grouch. All right, next up is what's going on with Crosshair? Oh, he's in that woman's crosshair. Let's take a look at the
I didn't know where we were going with that word at first.
As I said before, simply decommissioning problematic clones will not eliminate the threat.
Secure the prisoners for transport. We have a schedule to keep.
The ship's attached to the forward dock.
Security alert.
Security alert.
Why am I here? Help me, and you'll have your freedom.
You all plan to stay here indefinitely? We haven't decided yet. But to be honest, it might be the best thing for us.
Oh boy. Okay, so what did you think of this week's Bad Batch?
Well, I thought I'm enjoying the story with Crosshair. He's shown as an antagonist and kind of becoming more back to a sympathetic character here. I thought it was entertaining. This rebel cell of clones, almost. That's a fascinating aspect to Star Wars. Obviously Lucas didn't come up with the clones until probably right around 2000, 2001. Yeah. And obviously Filoni's built the story in. It's a fascinating aspect of it. And I'm amazed that they can take the concept of a clone, which is just duplicates of the same person, and create all these different personalities, slightly different voice.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good episode. I'm curious to see where we're going with it all. I read some interesting kind of chatter about Crosshair's potential future. I won't give any of that away on this show. Could be right, could be wrong. But
come on, tell it. Come on, tell it.
Well, there's some talk that Crosshair might turn into the first Dark Trooper.
No.
Yeah. So
I don't want to hear that. I thought you had some good news for us,
man. No, it's not. Well, I mean, that's
the worst news.
That's not bad news.
That's horrible news. Oh.
He's not even three-dimensional.
I don't care. I don't want him to be that much of a bad guy. That's super bad guy. Yikes. Boo. I don't like that.
Well, what did you think about the episode?
Terrible.
I didn't make it up. I've just reported. What did you think about the episode, PJ?
I thought it was a good one. I think it's interesting. I like how they are having them on I think it's Pabu, and that they can start to look and see and say, hey, maybe there's something else out there instead of constant war. I can be somebody else. And Wrecker is like, He's just having the best time. He's kind of like a Natasha Lyonne. You put him somewhere, they just fall in and everything's cool and become the lovable person of the whole thing. And I think that's an interesting kind of take. I didn't think they would kind of take with the show that, they'll explore, maybe something else. And but I think that we haven't seen the last of Sid, and so I think there's a big kind of arc coming up with Sid that may imperil the Bad Batch. So definitely I want to see what's going to happen next week. Is our the finale.
Wow.
A
Wow.
2-episode. No, it's been a long time. I mean, it's been 14 weeks, 15 weeks altogether. So definitely I think it's going to be 2 powerhouse episodes. That's for sure. So I can't wait to see what they come up with. So definitely this season's a little darker too. So I don't know if it's necessarily for the little ones. I mean, there's torture, there's, murder, straight up murders, some of that stuff, no sex. So, I mean, I don't know if I want to see clone sex, but
Clone sex. Well, you know what? Don't Google that at home, kids. You don't want to know.
I don't want to know. But I think it's something that the older kids and families can watch together. So good messages, and we'll see what happens with Omega. I think she's loved enough, even by Crosshair, that I think that's the thing that kind of changes him from being just completely, I'm going to do whatever the Empire tells me to do, to hold on a minute.
Well, his arc this season has been, because one of the early episodes, he just murders somebody. Just kills somebody right off. And he goes from doing that to killing his commanding officer because he sees the inhumanity in him. You've seen and now a sacrifice, self-sacrificing for Omega and his former team. It's been interesting in that the stories that have not focused on the Bad Batch team, I think, have been the most interesting.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. More depth, more conflict, more, like rich,
Yeah, there's depth here. There's depth to those that has really been entertaining.
Yeah. And I think with Omega, I think that's their way to keep the kitty kind of focus on it. But I wish they could just keep the focus on the side story. That's super compelling. But we'll see. Maybe we'll get more of it. Who knows? They might spin it off, and so we'll get something else. But yeah, so good episodes this week. I think this was a good week to watch TV. And next week we have coming up the finale of Bad Batch, The Mandalorian, and the hottest, weirdest movie of the year so far. Elizabeth Banks directed Cocaine Bear. Based on a true story.
Based on a true story. And the story, well, this movie is something. The story is even wilder. Check out Bluegrass Conspiracy. You can get that book on Amazon.com.
Oh, Lord.
The story behind it is so powerful that Forces Unseen actually got a podcast taken off cyberspace that got into the details of this. I mean, the Cocaine Bear is a fun, goofy story, but the drug running that took place inside the United States and the powerful people about it, it is something you don't want to miss. A lot to it.
Oh my goodness. So David sent me the link, And I'll put it up on the page afterwards so people can go and check out the real story behind Cocaine Bear. It might be like those square groupers back in the 70s. So definitely come back, join us. David, you got any final words for us?
Just to wish everyone well here as we are ending March and getting into spring. It is tax time, so do your taxes. Do your taxes honestly, and see if you can get a refund. I hope you do.
Yeah, and make sure that you have some fun. Get outside if you can. Avoid the tornadoes and the storms and hi. But if there's a sunny day, get some vitamin D the best way. And take care of yourself and those you love. And we'll see you next time. Take care.